Okay, let's take a look at some line graphs. Oh, I've got the end product here. So you have data that's longitudinal involving time, and a line graph can be a nice way to show the change and what's happening. Typically, you'll either start with information like this, or you'll have to create a little table to show this happening. I'm going to do this two places, Excel and then Google Sheets, and then show you the process in Google Sheets of like just creating that little frequency table. This is a sideways table. Doesn't matter whether it's sideways or vertical. It's going to give me the same result. So I highlight the information, insert chart. I can do recommended charts. See what it says. That's not what I want. So there's two things here. One is called a line chart, where each data point is essentially connected with the line, and I don't necessarily see the dots. That's the no dot version of it, and this is the sort of dot version of it. And that was the one that I had up before I deleted it. There's also a scatter plot version of this, and we get in later to, you may, in the course that you're in, get in later to looking at trend lines and regression. And so this is a better place to start. You don't want to start with the line graph. You want to just look at the dots on the page. So one of the things I want to point out is that these graphs are not done when we do this. You always want to add axis labels, change the title, number of employees. Basically all Excel did was they tried to look at this and figure out what you might want to call it, but almost always you're going to want to change the title. So I might say something like number of employees at Ben's Bakery. And in terms of, that needs an apostrophe, and in terms of the axis labels, there's two ways to do it in this application. And just a quick point here that the way Excel presents itself will depend on your operating system. So Chromebooks app versus Mac's app versus Microsoft Windows computers app versus the web app is going to look different. And that's frustrating about instructions, but it's just a reality. I have the little plus sign here in the top right. This is probably the easiest way. I can go to Access Titles, click that box, and the Access Titles show up. Bam. If that plus sign is not there, and this is true for Macs generally, add chart element up here will give me the same options. I can add the horizontal and vertical. It takes two clicks to do it. And then I'm in here and I'm just typing. If I just click one time, I can just type here months and it'll update it. I could also double click in here and then I can kind of work inside of the box. Not a right way to do that. This is number of employees. And there's other options for formatting the chart area, but that's more visual artistic than it is informational. These are the key elements of a good graph. If I don't show what the x-axis and the y-axis is, I risk having my information not understood or misinterpreted because I think it's obvious, and then other people are like, I'm not sure what that is. You could argue, these words, these category labels are definitely months, and therefore there will be no confusion, but you'd be surprised. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing over here in Google Sheets using different data here. This is a partial list from the Washington Post police shooting data, and I've done the first couple of months of 2015. And so I'm going to just build the table first, months, and I've got January, and I've got February, and I've got March, and I think I went all the way up to April. So now I'm going to go ahead and figure out how many of those there are. And so I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way here by just highlighting all the Januaries. Oops, too far. There it is. Okay. And then if I go here, I can change this to count. I see 76. So that's the number I'm going to put here. And then February, I need to do the same thing. Okay. And that count is 77. And then March. Now, there's probably a way to use a COUNTIF here, but just showing you the low tech way, because I don't actually know what the how the date works in terms of inequalities. And so, because I have to say, well, it's, before the 31st of March, but it's after the 1st of March, and I'm just not prepared to do that. So I'm just going to do it old fashioned 84. All right. And so now I can create a graph, insert chart, bar chart. Nope. There we go. Line chart. Perfect. And then it did put in a label for me, even though I didn't select that. So that's interesting. And then I'd customize chart title. Yep, I don't want the title to be versus months. I want this to be police shootings by month 2015. And then I'm going to drop down and show the vertical axis title, which right now doesn't have anything. And I want to say this is the number of police shootings. Now that should show up here. That's good. Okay, that label is totally fine. So again, I've got my title, vertical axis, horizontal axis. That's important in any graph that I'm making. And again, the visualization helps, clarify some things for us here. This is pretty consistent. There was a uptick in March and April. It'd be interesting to roll this out farther and kind of see, are there different months that this happens more or less? So that's what these types of graphs are good for. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Hope that helps.